Hey, what's going on, Phillies fans? Good afternoon, and welcome back to another stunning episode of the Fighting Smile here on the Phillies Postgame Show here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Your boy Matty B back here on the call on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. A shot in the arm, a character win. I don't know. I'm going to try to. I'm searching for the adjectives here, but a win is a win is a win. I guess that's what I'm going to go. I'm going to go off of the Homer mantra number 6. A win is a win is a win. As the Phillies found a way to get just enough offense sprinkled in with a very gutsy pitching performance by Taijuan Walker today down there at CBP, sun-drenched CBP, looking like a day in June, if you ask me. But they get the win. The bullpen once again comes up huge for the Phillies. Starting pitching comes up huge for the Phillies in a very unlikely individual in Taijuan Walker, and the Phillies hold on today 4-3. As I said, they get enough offense, but to think that this is anywhere but fixed offensively, that's a pipe dream. There's a massive issue with the Phillies offense this year, and it's, it is extremely reminiscent of years past, the way this offense is going about it. But I don't know, this seems a little bit of a different level of futility this year with this Phillies offense. Last 38 innings, the Phillies have only scored runs in 2 of those last 38 innings. So 36 out of the last 38 innings, the Phillies have not been able, that's their scoring drought. They've scored runs in 2 innings over the past 38. Today's runs, you got them in the, I know it's sounding really like nitpicky that I'm going to sit up here and start pulling apart a win. But they've got all their runs today off of the home run. It's just a level of frustration with this team because this type of offense is not World Series winning offense. This is not how you go about going out and winning a World Series. You cannot home run your way to a World Series. And it's the same thing we've been saying for the last 5 years. The lineup construction by this manager is sinking to new levels of incompetence. Their at-bats, for the most part, have been terrible. The clutch players are not coming up clutch. I mean, we can dance in the streets all night long about Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper hitting back-to-back home runs today, and it was needed. Absolutely needed. But if you think this is right now, if you think this is fixed, this is not fixed. Out of the last 8 runs the Phillies have scored, 4 yesterday and 4 today, 7 of those 8 runs have come off the home run. That is not sustainable, folks. We know that, and I don't know the answer here, and I don't know how to get to the bottom of this. But yeah, they won, and they needed to. They got to break that losing streak. They got back to 500. It is April. All those great things. But God help this team if they didn't have the pitching. God help them. God help the Philadelphia Phillies if they're not getting great pitching from just about everybody that goes up in there. And even in the losing efforts. Yeah, Luzardo last night had that one bad inning, 5-run inning. But still, 1 out of 8 or 1 out of 9, you should have been able to find a way to get that 5th or 6th run last night. Today, Walker has a terrible first, but comes back and gives you everything that Taijuan Walker could give you. Yeah, it ain't $18 million worth. It's a terrible contract. I could do without him. But right now, God bless Taijuan Walker for giving us an opportunity as this offense continues to scuttle. And God bless the bullpen. Because without the bullpen, without the way the pitchers have pitched, this is about a 4-win team right now. With the way this offense is going about things. They get the win today. But are you feeling any positive or any more confident about this team offensively? I'm not. They have not scored runs in 36 out of the last 38 innings. The last 8 runs that they've scored this season, in the last 2 games, they've scored 8 runs. 7 of those 8 runs have come via the home run. That is not sustainable. That is not how you win World Series. And yeah, we're, again, great. Schwarber hit the jack, the 3-run shot. Then Harper followed her up. They went back-to-back in the 3rd inning. Where was the offense in the 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th? Where was the offense? And again, the lineup stuff is just another level of craziness. But the Phillies do win. You would not think of it, but they still win. We did. We absolutely did. And, again, hats off to the starting rotation of this team. Hats off to the bullpen. Hats off to the pitching staff. If we didn't have this effort, if we weren't getting this from them, this is a 4-win baseball team right now. So all you out there who think that you want to get in on, I saw a lot of negativity headed towards Luzardo last night in that 5-run inning that he gave up. It's ridiculous to have any sort of negative connotations towards the Phillies pitching staff. Is it perfect? No, but it's giving them a chance game after game after game while this offense continues to get in its own way and struggle. And we have hit a new level of futility. 14 games in. I don't have any confidence in anybody up, but the only player that I can look at when he steps up at the plate and feel confident is the 22-year-old rookie who needs to go up to the top of the lineup. He needs to start leading off. Time is now. Justin Crawford needs to be leading off so we can stack this lineup a little bit better. But, all right, they got the win, 4-3. Elephant says he's still not satisfied with the offense. Yeah, join the club, man. This offense is terrible. Absolutely garbage. Garbage. And defense and offense are the problem. Defense, they had another error today. They've committed 8 errors through 14 games. So, yeah, that's not been really good, but I'm not, again, Star Wars, just like everybody who said the upgrade over Castellanos was Garcia because of Garcia's glove. The reason we are not winning World Series is because of the defensive issues we had in right field. And the reason why we're not winning a World Series collectively as a team is not the defense overall of this team. It's not been great. It's been terrible. And when it is good, it's above average, slightly above. But that's not what's holding us back from winning a World Series. It is always has been and will be until changes are forthcoming the offense. It rests solely on the bats of why this team cannot be a World Series champion. And for those of you that are out there that don't see that, for those of you that are out there trying to make excuses for Rob Thompson, trying to make excuses for Dave Dombrowski, trying to make excuses for, it's the pitching is the problem. You're fools, and you're not looking at the game. You don't know what you're talking about, and you don't know baseball. It is this offense, 11 more strikeouts today. The Phillies are averaging 10 strikeouts a game. They're striking out 10 a game. Over the past 2 games, 27 members of the Philadelphia Phillies have struck out. Over the past 2 games, 16 last night, 11 today. 27 strikeouts over the last 2 games. If you break that down in a 2-game time span, they've struck out an entire game. An entire 9-inning baseball game, they have struck out. Over the last 2. An entire game they have struck out. Somebody pitched a perfect game against the Phillies over the last course of one imaginative game, and they've struck them out every at-bat. That is disturbing. That's not concerning. It's disturbing. They're averaging 3.5 runs a game. The RISP batting average is down to 214, up to 214, 1 for 4 today. Opponents are batting close to 260 against them with runners in scoring position. They're averaging about 5 runs a game against this team. Great win today. Stop the losing streak. But is anybody out there feeling any more confident about this offense? Because to me, it's terrible. It is all other level terrible. And the way this manager is hurting out these lineups, every time he disrespects the game of baseball by putting Bryson Stott in the 5-hole, every time he disrespects the game of baseball by putting Brandon Marsh in the 4-hole, I don't care about lefty versus lefty, lefty versus righty. The hell with the matchups, man. This manager lacks any sort of feel for the game of baseball. None. He has none. 0. You can't see it. He relies solely on analytics. He relies solely on numbers to judge how he's going to build a lineup and use a rotation and make defensive adjustments. That's all he cares about. He does not have a feel for the game. It is official. Matty B has reached the fire Rob Thompson level it is time to move on from Rob Thompson. And for all you, it's only 14 games into the season, ignoramuses out there, again, I can't help you if you don't see what I'm seeing. If you don't see that this is not about 14 games, that this is about 514 games of the same thing. And with the aversion of change so great that this manager is detrimental to the continued success of this organization. But the Phillies won 4-3. Justin Crawford has had a good game. Yeah. Who's your MVP through the first 14 games of the season? If you had to pick a Phillies MVP, who would it be? It would be Justin Crawford, baby. Oh, yeah. It's been an outstanding. And again, it warrants a promotion to the top of that batting lineup. But you know why Crawford will never lead off, folks? You know why Justin Crawford will never lead off? And it has absolutely zilch, zippo to do with whether or not he can deal with the pressure at the top of the lineup. It has nothing to do with that because it's going to make Rob Thompson have to bat Kyle Schwarber in the 4-hole. That is why Justin Crawford will never lead off while Rob Thompson's here. Mark my words. Moving Crawford to the top of the lineup puts Thompson in a real bad spot to put Schwarber in the middle of the lineup, and he can't do it. And he won't do it. He won't put himself through that. He won't either have to face the music by telling Kyle you're going down to the 4-hole. He won't put himself in that spot. Again, conduct detrimental to the team's success is a fireable offense. Fire Rob Thompson. 514 games. It's not quite five. I mean, I'm ballparking it. It's not exactly 514. It's over 500 of the same thing. But the Phillies do get the win, and welcome to the program. Geez, if I'm coming in like blazing guns like this on a win, it's time. It's time to move on. Phillies get the win. Big stories today. Taijuan Walker, after a real rough first inning, settled it down, locked it down, pitched well through the next 4. Gave you what you needed from him today. Was 5 solid innings. Turns the game over to the bullpen, who's been really exceptional this season. Brad Keller worked himself into a jam late in the game, but he got out of it. And then they brought in the back end of the bullpen. That was amazing. So, again, hats off to the Phillies. Phillies, not the starting rotation, but the Phillies pitching staff. Hats off to the Phillies pitching staff, because without them, this is a 4-win baseball team to start off the 2026 season. So hats off to them today, as they did another outstanding job. And now we opened the door to Andrew Painter tomorrow. Be some shit if it's like, yeah, it would be. So do the math. I don't know. How many games did he manage in 22? Whatever that was. It was early June to the end, and then all of 23, all of 24, and all of 25, and then 14 games through 26. That's 500 and something. But yeah, it would be some shit if it was 514. I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to just add on the actual number of the seasons until they fire him. It's going to be tomorrow, be 515, and then 516, and so on and so forth until they fire this raving lunatic manager we have, who has no feel for the game of baseball. Rob Thompson's got to go. It's official. I've reached that point. Rob Thompson has got to go for the betterment of this team, because I feel that Rob Thompson is holding back this organization. The homers out there are telling you that at the end of the day, it's the players that make things happen on the field. It's the players that are slumping, the players who can't hit, the players who can't field the ball, the pitchers who can't pitch, yada, yada, yada. And that, you know what? There's more truth to that statement than there is lies. Absolutely. At the end of the day, it is about the players. But there's a big percentage of this that has a lot to do with how the manager is using these players. And this man's criminally negligent handling of the lineup by hurting out a matchup lineup that, God forbid we go with what makes sense versus what matches up, tells me everything I need to know about this guy's aversion to doing anything to change things with this team. The change is not coming with the personnel. Understand. I'm not asking for it. It can't happen. It's a non-starting point in this argument. You're not getting new players. It's not going to happen. It doesn't work like that. You got to get somebody in there that's willing to make some adjustments based on who they got on the team right now, and they're not. Again, Justin Crawford, who is my MVP through the first 14 games of this season for this team offensively, will never, ever lead off for this team because it's going to force Rob Thompson to move Kyle Schwarber into the middle of the lineup. He will not do that. That, to me, is conduct detrimental to the team's success moving forward. A fireable offense, Rob Thompson needs to go because he does not want to change. But Phillies won 4-3. Let's head over to the box score. Let me remind everybody here on the Inside Sports Network that tomorrow I'll be back with more rays of sunshine and positivity as Phillies will wrap up this 3-game set against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Zach Gallen going for the D-backs tomorrow. He'll be opposed by Andrew Painter on the Fanatic's birthday. Should be a big old ball of fun going on down there at CBP. So if you have the ability, I suggest you head on down to the ballpark tomorrow and celebrate the Fanatic's birthday and get to see Andrew Painter pitch. So it's a twofer tomorrow. And that'll be what we'll finish up with on the Fightins final this week. A little bit later on tonight, Mike Lauer will be back with the Clear the Ice Winnipeg Jets edition as the Flyers will battle the Jets later tonight. Mike Lauer will be on to give you that breakdown and analysis at the end of the Flyers game. And then heading into next week, as we wrap up the Flyers schedule, it'll be all Mike all the time as he will take you to the end of the season, literally. Mike will have you Monday against Carolina, and he'll have you Tuesday against Les Montreal Habilis. And we'll finish everything up on Tuesday for the regular season. What happens after that with the Flyers? Your guess is as good as mine. Stay tuned for that as we're going to have a fantastic finish down the stretch of the NHL season. So that is what's coming up tonight and into tomorrow. The rest of tomorrow is pretty much basic. It's one other show. You're going to have the Philly AM Sports Mike and Al back at it tomorrow. And then I will be on a little bit later on to do the Phillies Diamondbacks fights final. So there you go. There's our schedule for the rest of this week here on the It's ORAP Sports Network. Oh, man. I was ready to move on from Rob 7 innings into the Cardinal game a few years ago. I was ready to move on from Rob, and I'll be honest with you. You know, I did not feel after the World Series in 2022 when I thought that the situation in Game 6 with Wheeler was just terrible. I thought leaving your season's on the line and you're not going to leave the best player you have that can affect that season out in the game. I don't give a damn about the pitch count. Again, it goes analytics and matchups, and who cares, man? Your season's on the line, and he was the biggest piece that got you there. I'm leaving Wheeler in all day long. 6 ways to Sunday, I'm leaving him in there. But he goes out and he takes Wheeler out, and I was like, and then, of course, we all know what happened, and boom, boom, boom. So that left a bad taste in my mouth. But I get it. I gave him the credit for getting the team to that point. So I went into 23 with a clear conscience and a clear mind. And then what happened in 23, especially in the NLCS, the way he managed that NLCS, the way he misused Kimbrel going back-to-back in the NLCS when Kimbrel failed every single time in the season when he went back-to-back, but yet because the matchup said it worked, I'm going back to Kimbrel. And then when he blows the 3-2 lead at home, all you had to do was win one home game, 2 games, and you just, I was done then. I was done with Thompson at the end of the 23 season. I wanted him gone. But nope, I had to endure him through 24 and 25. And then I just got over the whole thing. I'm like, okay, he's here. It is what it is. Maybe the team can rise above their manager. But I'm at a point now where I just can't see past it. I just can't see past the aversion of making change. Baseball is a rough sport, and I get it. It's all about comfort and routine and daily things. I understand that. Trust me, I get it. But when it ain't working and you've tried it for years and you're not changing anything, at what point do you just say, for F's sake, I'm just going to change it because it's nothing else is happening? And again, Mark my words. Justin Crawford, who I think deserves to go to the top of that lineup now, will never get that chance while he's here. Because simply put, it forces Rob Thompson to move Schwarber into the middle of the lineup. And he won't do that. He won't. I don't know the reason. Been trying to figure out that answer for 5 years. I don't know the reason why he won't. But putting Crawford at the top of that lineup forces Rob Thompson to have to move Schwarber into the middle of the lineup. Will never happen. Won't. Rob Thompson will give you some gaslighting, blow smoke up your ass about why he won't do it, but he will never do it because of that reason and that reason alone. Mark my goddamn words. All right, the Phillies won 4-3. Let's head over to the box score. Let me get back into this game. Good God, man. I got the hate running deep. Diamondbacks, 3 runs on 7 hits and 1 error. The Phillies, 4 runs on 5 hits and an error. Your top offensive standouts today for the Fighting Phillies. If you want to give it for pure just shock value and, got us over the hump, Kyle Schwarber, 1 for 4, but the big one was a 3-run jack in that 3rd inning. He did strike out 2 more times, and he's still batting 188. So, obviously for the pure offensive output standpoint there with the 3 RBIs, yeah, I mean, you're going to lean towards Kyle Schwarber. I get it. Bryce Harper had a 1 for 3 day. He's up to 250, man. Bryce Harper has raised his batting average 50 points over the past 5 days. Good job, Bryce, man. Way to work your way back into L status. Not elite status, but EL status. As we're working our way back to the elite status. Brandon Marsh, 0 for 4. Now he is 1 for 11 batting in that cleanup hole over the weekend. 1 for 11, but are we going to change it? No, we're not. Because it's there's no lefty relievers on the Marlins, on the Diamondbacks. We're not going to change it. We don't care that he's gone 1 for 11 batting in the cleanup hole, and that one came on his first at bat and in the cleanup role last night. No, we ain't changing it because the matchup tells me so. We ain't changing it because the matchup tells me so. We're not going to do that because Rob Thompson lacks any feel for the game of baseball. Bryson Stott still batting 5th. Oh, come hell or high water, Bryson Stott will bat 5th. He was 1 for 3. Had a glimmer of hope there with that single. His batting average is up to 190. Garcia is in a bad way right now, 0 for 2. JT, not only is JT not hitting, has anybody also noticed JT's defense kind of taking a step back over the course of the last few games? Another had a terrible throw down to second base today. Last night they gave Lazaro the wild pitch, but that was a pass ball early in the game. The play at the plate last night. He would have been out if JT makes the catch or makes the play or catches the ball. Where's Al at here? Where's Al? Al, are you out there listening, man? Are you listening to your boy JT? What's going on with his defense? That's the whole sounding board about JT. We're going to keep him around for his defense. His defense has been terrible the last 2 games. Absolutely terrible. But you know what he's going to say to me? You know what he's going to say? He's going to say what every other JT apologist is going to say. Well, he got hit in the foot. He's hurt. And then he shouldn't be playing. Put Marchand in. Because Marchand's doing about the same exact thing offensively as JT is right now, down to 212 of batting average. And maybe be better defensively. I don't know. But where are all you JT apologists out there? Or where are you JT apostles? Where you at, Al? Come on. Because step into the light. Now, by the way, JT struck out 3 times. So my actual offensive MVP is Justin Crawford. 2 for 2. Scored a run, and he walked. So he was on base 3 times today. Some idiot way back when the season began 14 games ago told me that Justin Crawford is not going to be able to produce or be productive at this level because he does not have he doesn't have a good launch angle or exit velo off the bat. He hits the ball too much on the ground. This is the problem with baseball. And it's not Rob Thompson exclusively. It's a lot of you fans out there who judge the ability of a baseball player by the amount of home runs they hit. I don't know where this thing kind of fell off the axis. I don't. But Justin Crawford, at least through 14 games, is the real deal. and he deserves to be batting up top of the lineup right now. But again, that'll never happen under Rob Thompson. You guys know this, right? We know that Justin Crawford's development as a Major League Baseball player will be stifled by Rob Thompson because Justin Crawford will never get the chance to bat at the top of the lineup because it forces Thompson to put Schwarber in the middle of the lineup. That just won't work for him. So now we're going to hold back Crawford. We're going to hold back Crawford's development. We're going to hold back production from the team because of Rob Thompson's inability to change. Wrap that around your heads for a bit. But he was 2 for 2, as I said, and was on base 3 times. So I'm going with the non-sexy pick. I'm going with Justin Crawford as my offensive MVP today, as a young man batting 350, and the hottest bat in our lineup to boot. I mean, by a long shot. Alec Boehm is now taking over as the lowest batting average in the starters. He's batting 157. He had himself another 0 for day, but he did score a run, was safe on an error, got on base once. I mean, I guess small steps for Alec Boehm as he works his way back up to respectability. For the Marlins, Del Castillo was 3 for 4. He had the big day for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He had an RBI as well. Everybody else was pretty much held in check. Every couple one hits spread out over a course of 9 innings, and the result of 7 hits. So Justin Crawford is my offensive MVP for the Phillies. Pitching-wise, Walker does get the win, deservedly so. 1-2 now on the year. He went 5 labored yet effective innings. 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, and 1 home run. 85 pitches through those 5 innings. Yeah, I get it. 3 pitches into this game, it was let's run Walker the hell out of here. It was going to be a bad one, but Walker settled down, and he gives you what exactly you need from Taijuan Walker. Now, please understand, I am not on the Taijuan Walker fan train. $18 million a year. This is not what I expect. And this is not what it's been for 4 years. It's been a terrible contract for a terrible player who has not lived up to it. But thank God we have him. Thank God we have him right now to put him in positions like this to eat innings, put us in a position, once again, just like they all do. Every starter on this rotation does it, puts us in a position to be in games and win. The offense does not back us up, but the pitcher is keeps us in a position to win. Walker rebounded nicely, had that pickoff in the game today. Beautiful play. Pitched himself out of some trouble and got himself a much-deserved win. Tim Meza, Kerkering, Alvarado, Keller, who had a little bit of a problem in the 8th, but he got out of it, and Duran with his 5th save of the year. And again, pitching wins the day for the Phillies today at the bank as they hold off the Diamondbacks 4-3. Scoring summary, Marte would get things happening with three pitches in with the homer to give the Diamondbacks 1 run, but they were not done as Del Castillo would single in Corbin Carroll to make it 2-0, and that's where we would go into the 3rd, and then the Phillies erupted for their 4 runs. Schwarber was the capper with the 3-run jack, and then Harper going back-to-back with the solo shot to center, and then Fernandez in the 8th off of Keller scores Perdomo to make it 4-3, and that is your scoring summary for the day. Phillies hold on to win 4-3. The Phillies were 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position today. Batting average now as a team down to a zesty 214 with runners in scoring position. The Phillies left 7 more runners on base. They have now eclipsed the 100 total for 2026 of leaving runners on base. They did not attempt any steals. But yeah, so the Marlins, damn, why keep calling them the Marlins? D-backs, 2 for 6 runners in scoring position. They left 6 on base. And there you go. And that's how you get 4-3. Big win today. Did I mention it was a big win? It really was. Justin Crawford had a triple yesterday. He did, man. He did. Metrics can be helpful, but only if they're overly used. Only if they're overly used these days and don't always tell. They don't. Yeah, man. Absolutely. All right. So we got 4-3 Phillies win. Let's head on now. Let's go to my Broad Street bottom line here on today's program. All right, Broad Street bottom line for me is this. Last 38 innings, the Phillies have failed to score in 36 of them. Last 38 innings, Phillies have failed to score in 36. So they've scored they've scored runs in only 2 innings over the last 38 innings. Out of the last 8 runs the Phillies have scored as a team, 7 of them have come via the home run. That ain't working for me. That ain't working for me, and that's not going to work to win a World Series. And for all you only 14 games in people, you know what? You're not get out of here because you don't know what you're talking about. We're way beyond 14 games. We're at 514 games. This offense is completely stuck in its same patterns and its same things throughout the last 5 years. Nothing has changed. And even more alarming to me, nothing will change because the manager is so adverse to changing anything. Big point here for me today. Justin Crawford belongs at the top of that lineup right now. There's no reason, if you're trying to spark a team offensively, that you don't move a guy that's going to be your leadoff hitter at some point in his career up there right now who's batting .350 and give him a chance to sort of kind of set the tone, set the pace, table set your top of your lineup on this baseball team. That will not happen under Rob Thompson, not because he doesn't deserve the chance in Crawford, but because Rob Thompson will then be forced to have to put Schwarber in the middle of the lineup. He will not do that. So the lack of sustained offense and the lack of the ability to change things in order to create offense, when obviously this does not work and this will never work, is my Broad Street bottom line. They got to win today, and they've been winning. We've seen it over the course of the past year and a half now on the backs of their pitching. And thank God for the Phillies pitching staff in 2026. This is a 4-win team right now without them. But they got the win today. Not feeling any more confident. Change needs to happen. That is also the Broad Street bottom line for me. We got to change some things. And what that means, that's Dave Dombrowski's problem to figure out. Obviously, you're not going to fire the 26 players that play here. You could fire the manager. Would not be adverse against firing the manager. I am officially out. It is time to fire Rob Thompson. But if he's not going to change something, if he's not going to do wholesale changes and moving Brandon Marsh into 4 and sliding Bohm down to 8 is not what I'm talking about. That's an insult to us. That is an insult to this city's fan base, the fans of this team, and the fans of the sport of baseball. And to call that a change. Wholesale changes need to happen with this lineup. And if that's not going to happen under Rob Thompson, it's time to move on from him. So there you go. That's my Broad Street bottom line. Change is the word of the day. Oh, man. Home run or bust approach has got to change. Yeah, I mean, come on. Where you been, man? I've been singing that tune for 2 years. Out of the last 8 runs they've scored over the course of the last 2 games, they've scored 7 of them via the home run. That is not sustainable. We've seen that over the course of the last 5 years. We are way over 15. What's that mean? What does that mean? LF, I think. Left field, I think. If so, the bat is good for sure. What do you guys see? I'm not putting up these internal conversations. If it was not for Crawford, we would be no hit. Yeah, it seems like that. Definitely batting .350. Crawford should be leading off, like you said. Listen, but do you honestly think, Broad Street, that that's going to happen? Again, for the reasons that I've laid out, not necessarily for any other reasons. I mean, if there's any other reasons why you think that's not going to happen, or do you think obviously Rob Thompson's not going to sit up there and say, I'm not leading him off because I don't want to deal with Schwarber. I don't want to have to tell him that he's batting 4th. I don't want to do that. He's not going to tell you that. He's going to tell you he's not leading off yet because he's not ready to. Right? He's going to give you that gaslight. He's going to give you that bull crap. And people are going to eat it up, and people are going to say, yeah, he's not ready. But the real reason behind why Crawford is not going to get a chance, because if you want to change this lineup, if you want to change what's happening offensively with this team, putting Crawford in the lead-up is a friggin' chain reaction of change. Because you're going to have no choice but to switch everybody down. You're not going to leave friggin' Schwarber at 2 and bat Turner at 4. You ain't going to do that. It's going to lead to a chain reaction just by shifting one person to the top of that lineup. And this man will not do that. For whatever, has Kyle Schwarber cornered Rob Thompson in his office, pinned him up against the wall with a baseball bat to his throat saying, don't you ever make, I mean, what's going on, man? Why is Kyle Schwarber not batting cleanup? It's so stupid. He won't because of that reason. Yes. It's the only reason. Yeah. I like the Turner is a 2, right? Turner on most teams is a 2. He can be a leadoff, but on most teams, he's an ideal number 2, and he's definitely the best version of a 2-hitter we have here. But I think come summertime in June or July, it will force Rob's hand. I don't know if Rob will be here by then. Again, I don't think Rob's going to survive to that point. I think Rob's going by. If I would wake up tomorrow and get that news, I would be one happy man, and that's not happening in April. I understand if Phillies could lose every single game from now until April 30th. They're not going to make a change at manager, but I would be very surprised if Rob Thompson's here in June. I'd be very, very surprised if he's here. I don't see it. Not the way this team has been going through 14 games. I don't see him being here in June. But it's going to be interesting if he is here and he has to make that decision. And what nonsense. And then God help him if the lineup is Crawford leading off, Schwarber batting second, Turner batting third, Harper batting fourth, Stott batting fifth. God help him if he tries to do something like that. Oh, man. But win stat wise, they have a lot of games with Schwarber leading off. Dude, I'm not even going to do it, man. Not even going to do it. I'm not even approaching that conversation. Not even going to. This is no way. Bochy's got a job, man. They just can't go get. Bochy works for the Giants, man. He's like the assistant to the GM out there. They just can't go get Bruce Bochy. They got a manager. He's sitting right next to Rob Thompson. They got a guy that can pilot the ship for the next 5 months, sitting right next to Rob Thompson. I just don't want to get locked into another replacement manager. Well, you're going to. You're going to. And you know what? If Mattingly would take the job long term, I would be okay with that. But he said he doesn't want to manage again. I think they can talk him into managing the rest of the season in an interim basis. Here's something interesting, and I thought about this last night. If, say, they fire Thompson, right, and say something goes wrong, something really bad happens, and John Middleton gets a wild hair up his ass and fires Dombrowski in season, who would they replace Dombrowski with? It would be Preston Mattingly. Could there be a potential opportunity that the Phillies would be run by the Mattingly family? Because you'd have Preston sitting in as the acting VP of baseball operations, because Field, whatever his name is, still off at the University of Pennsylvania getting his doctorate. So you have Mattingly pretty much stepping in as the VP or the president, and then you have Don batting, managing the team. Could they actually turn the team over to the Mattingly family? That would be something weird. Yeah, he is. He's working for the Giants. So Donnie wasn't. And that's what I understand that, but I'm not asking him to do it long term. I'm not asking him to do that. But if I corner Don Mattingly in the clubhouse and be like, Don, come on, man, look at the lineup I'm giving you. Look at these players, because a person like Don Mattingly who's managed, coached, and played, borderline Hall of Famer. He sits there mentally, or maybe on a piece of paper nobody can see it, and he writes down his lineup that he would employ. And he sees these players and is salivating about the opportunity to potentially manage them. And he's sitting there thinking, this guy's an idiot. What is he doing? I could do it a lot better. I think I'm not asking him to take over the Colorado Rockies for the rest of the year. I'm asking him to take over on paper a World Series contender. And again, nothing more than the year, nothing more than 2026. You're already here. You're going to be the bench coach anyway. All the main work as a manager is over. It's, you're beyond spring training. Now it's just managing, right? Why would he not take it? I think he would. Again, not anything long-term. Theo Epstein. Is he still in baseball? I have no idea. There are far worse than being run by the Mattingly family. I don't know. Pretty funny. Just a whole concept that we're being run by the Mattingly family would be interesting. I'm not saying it'd be bad or good. It might be good, but Phillies do get the win today, 4-3. Let's now head around the bases on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Yes, sir, indeed. Let's go around the bases for games that are currently still ongoing. It is 3-2 Pirates over the Cubs as they go to the top of the 8th. In the top of the 6th, it is the Minnesota Twins all over the Toronto Blue Jays 7-2. Just underway out in Cincinnati, it's 1-0 Reds over the Angels as they are in the bottom of the 1st. Out in Queens in the top of the 2nd, it's 1-0 Mets over the A's. In a rain delay in the 1st inning, it's the White Sox and Royals. Later on tonight, it's Yankees and Rays in Tampa, Nats and Brewers in Wisconsin, Guardians and Braves in the hot Atlanta, the Giants and the Orioles in Maryland, Red Sox and Cardinals in the Lou, the Rockies and the Padres out in Southern California, and the Rangers and the Dodgers in Chavez Valley. And later tonight, you got the Astros and the Mariners a little bit later, about 10 o'clock. And then games that have gone final, it was the Tigers over the Marlins, 6-1 in Motor City. And, of course, the Phillies here in Philly beat the Diamondbacks 4-3. And that is your look around the bases on this Saturday afternoon. Tomorrow, the Phillies will be back at this with an opportunity to win their 3rd series of the season, as they will put their very best foot forward in their young phenom and Andrew Painter, and he'll be opposed by Zach Gallen. 1:35 start time down there at CBP, and it is the Fanatics' birthday. So for those of you that are still looking for something to do on a Sunday afternoon, go down, and not only do you get to experience Andrew Painter, but you get to experience the Philly Fanatics' birthday. Always a good time to be had by all on the Fanatics' birthday. So that is tomorrow's look around. That's tomorrow's activities at the bank, and I will be back tomorrow for the final part of this series. You're going to get me again tomorrow afternoon. Look for me around the 4:30 hour on Sunday afternoon, and we'll break down the game tomorrow, and we'll also have an opportunity for the first time in 2026 to go full bore into the Down on the Phillies Farm segment, as we will profile all levels of the minor leagues, with the exception of the FCL Phillies and the DSL Phillies, white and red, because neither one of those 3 teams have begun their season. But everybody else is underway in Clearwater and in friggin' Jersey Shore and Reading and Lehigh Valley. They're all underway into their season. So we will have our first almost full Down on the Phillies Farm report of the season tomorrow. And that'll happen at the back end of the Fightins Final. Every Sunday here on the Fightins Final, we will do the Phillies Down the Phillies Farm Report. It's a pretty fun segment. I enjoy putting it together. I enjoy watching minor league baseball. So make sure you're there for that. If you're not there for the show, just make sure you're there for that. But that's gonna wrap me up today, guys. I want to thank you for joining me. Phillies do win 4-3, but I am not feeling any more confident about this offense than I was a couple hours ago. So Taijuan Walker, big day. Thank God for the Phillies pitching staff. Thank God for them all, because right now, if it wasn't for them, we'd be a 4-win baseball team. Guys, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Don't forget, later on tonight is the Flyers and the Jets. And then back here, it is Clear the Ice with Mike Lauro. He'll have you on the call as the Flyers are going down the stretch of their season. And I'll be back tomorrow for the Fightins Final tomorrow morning at 9. It's the Philly AM Sports Show. Lots of fun here on the network. So until we talk again, they won. And I will do it, because I always do it during a Phillies win. Harry the K, where you at and what you got?
He had high hopes. He had high apple pie in the sky.